The AI bubble has already caused irreparable damage to the PC gaming hardware space. As we all know, buying RAM is going to be an absolute luxury for the next couple of years due to the fact that a lot of these AI companies have bought out the entirety of the RAM production for the foreseeable future. But then again, that's okay because buying a GPU has already been a luxury over the last couple of years because these same AI companies are also buying out all of the GPUs to implement into their data centers so that they can use them for deep learning and all of that good stuff, leaving all of us that actually just want to be able to afford a reasonably priced computer with reasonably priced hardware parts. We're just being left out in the dust because all of the good stuff is being bought out by these AI companies and all of the prices are going up and up and up, and we're basically being priced out of the hobby. But Nvidia really felt like they needed to go ahead and explore new avenues of griefing because, now that they're done griefing gamers because it's pretty hard to make things worse for us, they figured, what we got to do now? We got to go and grief the artists that are actually, producing these video games because that's pretty much what they did with the implementation of DLSS 5. So let's talk about it a little bit. Nvidia revealed today DLSS 5, and it says DLSS 5 delivers AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games. Featured stories, GeForce RTX 50 series. So this is designed for the GT RTX 50 series, but to be quite honest, by the time we're done watching this video, I think that the more realistic thing is going to be the RTX 60 series is probably going to be where the LSS 5 is going to be properly implemented because I highly doubt NVIDIA is going to be able to squeeze this into the 50 series. Well, maybe the 5090 and at a steep performance cost, but maybe that's just me being pessimistic because I'm used to these things kind of working out like this. I can't wait to see NVIDIA deliver another fantastic feature the same way that they've been delivering us the RTX, ray tracing. That's all good stuff that we've all been enjoying in video games, right? Clearly hasn't caused any problems whatsoever, and most of the times if that stuff was off by default would just be, doing everyone a favor because that way games could actually run properly. No, that's just me. I know that a lot of people are big fans of RTX and all of that good stuff. Give me baked lighting, okay? I'll take the baked lighting because usually that would mean better performance and I like frames, but, Anyway, NVIDIA today unveiled DLSS 5, the company's most significant breakthrough in computer graphics since the debut of real-time ray tracing. It's so good that this is the best thing you've done since ray tracing because ray tracing is certainly such a net positive for gaming. Thank you so much. The DLSS 5 introduces a real-time neural rendering model that infuses pixels with photoreal lighting and materials, bridging the divide between rendering and reality. The DLSS 5 empowers game developers to deliver a new level of photoreal computer graphics previously only achieved in Hollywood visual effects. Oh boy, this is exactly what we need. We need more photorealistic games because that's the only thing that really matters. If your game has photorealistic graphics, then it's not a problem at all. Like, Unreal Engine 5, that hasn't been causing any issues at all. Like every single game that has come out with Unreal Engine 5 runs perfectly fine and it's absolutely fantastic because, everybody wants games that look almost the same pretty much between them. But anyway, let's just have an actual look at what we got going on here, shall we? This is the video. Oh, that's a little bit on the loud end. Let's make it a little bit lower. So as you can see, we have Resident Evil Requiem here, which is a good looking game. I've played this at Gamescom. I haven't really played the final version of the game, and I don't usually play that much Resident Evil. It's not really my kind of game, but you can see the artist's vision in here. Like on this gloomy scene, you have Grace, the main character, and all that good stuff happening, and boom, let's see what happens. Yeah. So I guess we just don't care how the artists feel about their own characters. Like, that's just an afterthought. Like, are you trying to tell me that this is the same character? Is that what we're going for? Like, for real? Like, these lips are absolutely not the lips the same. I just look at the lips. I mean, sure, it's got impressive lighting and all of that good stuff. At the same time, it also completely changes the art style that the developers have gone for. It completely changes the lighting that the developers have set up for this scene and gives her pretty much a perfect studio look, because that's usually what AI looks for. People have instilled AI with these standards of beauty, and AI is like, okay, so we're going to need perfect lighting on this character, because that's the only way to properly do a character, right? You want to make sure that you have studio lighting on them to make sure that it enhances every single feature. It's like, no. Oh, but this character's in the dark. It's like, no. You don't understand. We need studio lighting on this character right now, pronto, like she's in a proper studio for a photo shoot. And I'm just like, bro, what are we doing? This doesn't even look like Grace. Like, straight up, this in this specific scene, it doesn't look like Grace. There are other scenes that they've shown, and I've seen like pictures online, and there's like this presentation that Digital Foundry got to watch, and they show you like different things. And in some of those, it still looks like Grace, even though it's been applied like a heavy AI filter on top of Grace. It looks like she's pretty much generated by ChatGPT. So you get ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok's idea of what Grace looks like, but clearly not the artist's idea of what Grace should looks like, which I think is something that maybe should be important, because, the artists, they're the ones who kind of designed this whole thing. And I wonder, like, if any of the artists actually signed off on this. They're like, oh, hells yeah, change my work, make it look like that. That's so much better, dude. That's so much better. But let's look at a couple of more examples that we have here. Here we have iconic character from the Resident Evil franchise, Leon Kennedy. Once again, the whole lighting of the scene changes, right? Like, here you have somewhat realistic lighting. He's coming out of a car. There's probably like a street light to his right or something like that. And then in here, you have what we in the industry like to call like 3-point lighting for perfect facial definition and all of that stuff. Studio lighting. So basically, you don't have to worry about the way that your characters look in video games, because from this moment onwards, they're always going to have like 3 sources of light following them through the world to make sure that everything has perfect studio lighting, regardless if that actually fits the mood of the scene, okay? They're all going to look like supermodels, because obviously that was the intent of the artist. And I find it interesting because specifically in Digital Foundry, the 2 guys that got to watch the thing, which was a very disappointing video to watch. I'm not going to be going over that. You guys can watch it over on Digital Foundry. Usually I like to go to Digital Foundry to see like, oh, what's going on with the performance of this thing, what's going on. And they were saying like, oh yeah, it's the exact same geometry. And I'm like, is it? Is this the same geometry? I could swear those eyes are different, but maybe I'm nitpicking, I could swear the geometry on the nose also changes. I could swear his whole fucking facial structure is different. But maybe that's just me, because I look at this character, I'm like, oh, look, it's Leon. That's obviously Leon. And I'm not even that big. Like I said, I'm not a big Resident Evil guy. But I look at this and I'm like, this is Leon. And then I look at this and I'm like, who the... Hey, Resident Evil fans, sound off in the comment section. Tell me which character is this? Is it Keanu Lenedy? It's Keanu Lenedy, clearly. It's Keanu Lenedy. It's his cousin from Canada. But yeah, that's Resident Evil Requiem. This is Hogwarts Legacy, where they made this stylized old lady just look like an old lady. It's just so weird to me, because I've seen so many people in social media just glazing up this technology like, oh my God, this is so fantastic. It looks so much better. And it's like, I'll tell you what, it looks more realistic. It also looks so much more soulless and completely devoid of the stylized art style that they were clearly going for. The game isn't meant to be photorealistic. Like you look at this art style and it's like, yeah, they're going for a stylized art style. These are not realistic, facial proportions for most people, or even arm length proportions, maybe even torso proportions. This is not supposed to look like a real person. But Nvidia just goes like, nah, bro. Boom, baby, look at that. So much better. And again, I think one of the most impressive things is how you look at this face, right? And you can see that there's an intent on how the lighting is made, right? Because the lighting is coming from the wand and it's hitting her in the face. Naturally, there are certain parts of the face that are going to be obscured because that's how the designers designed the lighting. And then in here, it's like, nah, bro, fucking studio lights. Just get a couple of floodlights in her face. Fuck the entire intent of, the lighting that the actual artists have done for this scene. No, we don't care. That doesn't matter. That's not important. We just want to make it as realistic as possible because that's what makes it better. Graphics are what makes it better. I would just like to remind you, I didn't even have this pulled up, but I would just like to remind you what one of the most successful video games that has released recently. I would just like to remind you what that particular video game looks like, okay? It looks like this. All right? It looks like this. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Open image in new tab. Stop being a boomer. This is what it looks like. One of the most successful video games that just released looks like this. More success. I don't think it's more successful than Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy had like millions of concurrents or something like that because it's Harry Potter, obviously. But it's like, shouldn't this show people that, like, listen, the art style, the direction of the artist, the gameplay, that's what really matters. This? Nobody cares about this. And the people that do care about this are just feeding into the algorithm so that they can make a buck. That's pretty much it. This is... The interesting thing is that my interpretation of this situation, I could be wrong. I'm theorizing because we're never really going to know. Because the reality is that people that are employed by the companies that are involved in what is being shown here, so like the actual artists that got to work on this specific scene, you're not going to get to hear their voices. And if you do, it is going to be through, anonymous interviews and stuff like that, because they're not going to be able to actually tell you what they think about this. But I just think about, like, man, I wonder how the person who designed this thing feels, because I just want you to notice, right? Again, look at the lighting. The whole thing is about, ooh, the wand is glowing and it's bouncing off of her head and all of that stuff. Look at how DLSS 5 is like, fuck all that. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. Look at how cool this character looks now. It's just so disappointing that so many people see this and there's literally no pushback. I know that there is pushback from some of the people, but there's a lot of people that say like, oh my God, that looks so good. And this was the case for the guys at Digital Foundry. They were like, oh man, this amazing technology. Look, another one. Boom. Okay, on this one, they were able to keep like some of the mood lighting at least, but I was told that, because I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy, I don't really care that much for Harry Potter, but like, I was told that this is supposed to be like a 15-year-old character or something like that. And it's like, bro's 25, okay? Bro's like late 20s coming into his 30s. His hair is about to start graying out. What do you mean he's 15? Like, what? Not to mention, notice how this guy is, at least I think that the intention of the goblin is that he's supposed to look neutral. Like, yeah, sure, he looks like a goblin, ugly ass looking goblin, but notice how when the AI gets applied, he almost looks evil. This is a very important thing about artist intention that is being completely manipulated, and I'm pretty sure against artists' wills, but it is what it is. Now, in the case of Starfield, this is actually an interesting case because Starfield characters already look notoriously bad, so it's kind of hard to make them look worse. It just looks more realistic. And in the case of Starfield, it's just straight up great. I feel kind of bad. Like, It's just, I'm sorry, bro. The characters in Starfield didn't look that great to begin with. So but then again, it's like their lighting is also like kind of weird. So I don't know. I can't really comment that much on Starfield. I did enjoy some parts of Starfield. I'll say that, but I didn't like Starfield because of the visuals, and this does nothing for me. I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever. Oh my god. Boom. But again, one of the things that I will say is like, look in this scene, right? Look at the lighting on this scene, and look at what happens to the lighting when DLSS makes its pass. Okay, guys, we're no longer, because this is supposed to be like a mining operation and all of this stuff. And it's like, no, now we're in a studio. Look at the like, this is the thing. I know that a lot of people probably don't know how 3-point lighting works, but like, 3-point lighting is literally what they've done to this character. Like, you see the crisp definition of his head. You want to know why his head has a crisp definition? It's the light that will be like right around here, which is the type of lighting that they do in a studio. It's just so funny to see. Oh, God. Now, when it comes to, I thought it was funny in the sports games because I've always, whenever I've looked at the EA games, the sports games, to me they all look like dog shit to start with. So it's one of those situations where it's like, well, can't make it look any worse. So whatever. These games are already completely devoid of any artistry whatsoever. They're just trying to make them look as photorealistic as possible and absolutely failing to do so. So when it comes to these ones, it works perfectly because this game is already a soulless piece of garbage. So when you put another soulless piece of garbage filter on top of it, it just becomes perfect. It's great. Yep. Good job. I think EA should absolutely implement this. And to be quite honest, I think EA would absolutely love to do it. But yeah, that's Nvidia DLSS 5. As you guys can tell, I'm not a big fan of what they're doing with the technology. I'm not even a big fan of like, oh, we need to have like, we can't really render natively anymore. We've lost that ability. Like I've said multiple times, I know that a bunch of people are going to give me a bunch of shit. They're like, oh, the graphics, they look so crisp. It's like, listen, 4K was a fucking mistake. And I say this as somebody who uses 4K as a resolution, okay? I play my games in 4K. I do video editing in 4K. I do all of that stuff. And 4K was a mistake. It was. When it comes to gaming, for other things, no. But when it comes to gaming, 4K was absolutely a mistake. We should have never left 1440p. 1440p should have been the standard for at least another 5 years because we still can't do 4K 60 properly. We can't. It's just that simple. We need fake frames. We need fucking, fake rendering. We need AI upscaling. We need frame generation. All of this bullshit. We could have been rendering everything natively at 1440p with really good 1440p monitors, and it would look better than what it looks on upscaling and all this other bullshit that they're doing in 4K. Absolutely. I will die on this hill. I don't give a fuck. I already know that because there's always ton of people that whenever I say this stuff, they come after me. It's like, oh, you fucking hater, fossil. I am a fossil, bro. But I would rather render things natively. Yeah, that's me. I don't give a fuck. Call me old-fashioned. There was a time where I said something like, oh, man, wouldn't it be great just render things natively? And people are like, oh, you don't understand how inefficient that is. It's like, well, why the fuck are we even trying to render in 4K if it's not efficient then? Just render in 1440p. Anyways, beyond the point. So in here, they do a whole bunch of more glazing. Here's another interesting tidbit here. In the Digital Foundry video, they said that this demo that we just watched, this thing, was running on a computer with two 5090s. So there was a 5090 doing the rendering of the video game, and then there was another 5090 doing whatever this garbage filter is that they're doing on top of it, which I find to be very interesting. Now, Nvidia naturally told them, it's like, oh no, but it's going to be fine on the 50s. On the 50 series, we're going to make it run on just one GPU. There's going to be like almost no performance overhead. Yeah, sure. Just like RTX got no performance overhead. So it's fine. It's not going to be a problem at all. It's going to run great. It's going to be perfect. But it was interesting to see that there was like no pushback whatsoever. They were just like, oh, this is just fantastic fucking technology. And this, I feel like, was one of the most disappointing things because, you know, this type of stuff, I expect to see this type of stuff from Bethesda. I don't know who Hoda Studio is, but from NetEase, I definitely expect this shit from NetEase. Abso-fucking-lutely. NetEase, the skin job company, they're like, oh man, this is going to be great. We can do more for way less. We have to put in way less effort to make things look good. We can just make like a fucking polygon and you'll put a face on it. This is perfect for us. We love this. NCSoft, I'm like, whatever. S-Game, who is S-Game? Is S-Game the guys who make Lies of P? No, please tell me I'm mistaken that. S-Game. Oh no, it's Phantom Blade. Oh man. That's kind of disappointing. Okay. S-Game, Tencent, Ubisoft. You know, Tencent, I expect this from them. Ubisoft, a million times I expect this from them. Ubisoft's got nothing to lose. And Warner Bros. But I would not have expected this from Capcom. I am disappointed in that. Absolutely. I'm not even going to go with the Bethesda thing because, you know, good old boy Todd Howard, 16 times the detail, is like, oh, man, and you guys are going to make a filter that's going to make our games look good? Todd Howard's like, thank God. Thank God somebody's doing that. Holy shit. Because we sure as fuck can't make that happen. But anyway, it's actually funny, the quote, Bethesda has such a rich history of pushing graphics with Nvidia going all the way back to Morrowind with that incredible water. Oh my god, when Nvidia showed us the DLSS 5, we got it running in Starfield. It was amazing how it brought it to life. We've played it. We can't wait for you all to do so as well. But the Capcom one, like I said, that's the one that hurt. We strive to create experiences that feel cinematic, compelling, and deeply believable, where every shadow, texture, and ray of light is crafted with intention to enhance atmosphere and emotional impact. You mean like this, where you go from actual mood lighting for the character and all of that to studio lighting? That was disappointing. An emotional impact said Jun Takeuchi, executive producer and executive corporate officer at Capcom. DLSS 5 represents another important step in pushing visual fidelity forward, helping players become even more immersed in the world of Resident Evil. This removes immersion more so than adds it to me. Like, I think it's just a straight up downgrade. I know that a lot of people disagree with me on that. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I think it's straight up a downgrade. In this scene, it's actually slightly better because at least here it still looks like the same character. So in here, it's at least doing a slightly better job. Like, you know, credit where credit is due. I still think it completely changes the mooding of the scene because it straight up adds, once again, studio lights. You see, this is why the eyes have these reflections, because the beauty standards that they've trained AI on usually have the faces of supermodels and stuff like that. That's what they train AI on in supermodels because they're properly lit in a studio environment. That's why they have such big, reflections in their eyes. It's the light bulbs of the studio, which Grace is not in a studio. Or whatever. It's pointless to argue this. I think you guys get the point. But yeah, there's also It's also a Ubisoft quote. Immersion is about making the world feel real. DLSS 5 is a real step towards that goal, said Charlie Guillemot, co-CEO of Vantage Studios. The way it renders lighting, materials, and characters changes what we can promise to players. On Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's letting us build the kind of worlds we've always wanted to. What kind of fucking bullshit ass. Did you get ChatGPT to fucking generate this blurb for you, Charlie? Because you couldn't even get yourself to write it yourself, you fucking fraud. Whatever, bro. I'm frustrated. I just wanted to. I don't even know why I'm making this. Fuck this.